This was Fairytale RP, a privately hosted permadeath server in the game Conan Exiles, with a focus on heavy roleplay, slow progression, and players-made stories. The person who developed it was apparently watching my videos and made me aware of the world that he created. I had a copy of the game in my Steam account, even though I never properly gave it a go, so it was about time to check it out. Conan is about hunting, resource gathering, crafting, and building. I started building my own hut in the wild, not far from the starting village which had all the NPCs. I also met another character who showed me around, my first bit of roleplay. I was beginning to buy into the idea of a hardcore narrative with the world as my oyster, that I could shape it to whatever I wanted to, and didn't have to ask permission from any staff member. An entirely players-driven experience built into the engine. But there was a problem. The server had like 2-3 players playing regularly, and that's it. And this was actually the server owner showing me around. I wondered why. Players flocked to something good after all, so there had to be something missing. Little by little, I began to uncover it. Before I go on, everything I say is not about criticizing the server admin or his creation. I don't make it a habit to say bad things about those who work hard and for free to create unique experiences. I'm making this video to show my point of view, which would hopefully help anyone dabbling in hardcore permadeath roleplay experiences now or in the future. Number 1. The server used the default map of the game Conan Exiles, so it wasn't offering a unique geography with a story built into the design. You could experience this map in hundreds of different servers and parameters. Second, the fantasy settings was the Hyborian Age, which wasn't supposed to have dwarves and elves and orcs, but the server included them, so the lore was a bit confusing. There were no GM events. It was an entirely players-driven experience, so the players were supposed to create the stories and the interest. But I didn't get to see any of that. I never got to meet them. It didn't help that the map was so huge. But actually, there was something else which I thought was way worse. The grind. It was exhausting. For the sake of realism, this server even made it harder than the vanilla version, so you needed to hack more trees, more stones, more resources, and wait more time for things to be crafted. It just wore me out. I couldn't go on. The grind was killing me, and I barely got half a hut done. I just had to quit. But then, something happened that I didn't expect. I started playing the vanilla version of Conan Exiles, the one without the permadeath, without the increased waiting or excessive grind, and I was actually enjoying myself this time. YouTube user Resonant makes a good point about excessive realism grind in video games. His point was specifically about the game Life is Feudal, which really took the grind way too far.
Updates caused the expected grind in Life is Feudal to be expanded upon to insane levels. Animals would have to be tended every single real day life, or they would die. Maintenance on your buildings, gathering resources would be taken up tenfold to a level where Life is Feudal your own became more of a chore, because it was almost a second job. And when the game gets to that level, it sucks all the enjoyment out of it.
Why do we have to associate hardcore realism with gamey and clicky? I think I also experienced it a bit when I was doing military simulation with a realism platoon, where I had to pull security for a long period of times when nothing interesting was going on. Sure, that's what happens in real military situations, but simulating it through a game isn't fun. I should mention that I liked the server owner. He's a great role player, and this video is not a knock on him or on his creation. He was trying to do something new, which is always admirable. For me, it was the first time that I saw permadeath combined with a world-building engine. Although no terraforming tools like in Life is Feudal or Minecraft, that's still pretty impressive the stuff you can build in this game. I didn't know I was gonna get addicted to this so much. I actually enjoyed it without any multiplayer or without any role-playing, which is not typically my style. So, here is the big question. For better role-playing and for experiencing better epic stories, Do we actually need sandbox tools for players? I believe even the oldest of internet technologies can achieve amazing stories. What you need is the right conditions and the right group of people. Conan Exiles is fun either way. I give it a thumbs up. It doesn't need to be hardcore role-playing, let alone permadeath, to be an enjoyable artistic expression in of itself.